All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Jermell Charlo, Errol Spence Jr. revealing why Jermell Charlo behaves like Jermell Charlo behaves. Great mystery, but also very important for the sport of boxing. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to talk about Errol Spence Jr. and we're going to talk about Jermell Charlo in the 154-pound division and great disservice taking place out there in the boxing world. Errol Spence Jr. reveals what it is exactly that has Jermell Charlo behaving in the fashion that Jermell Charlo is behaving. That I think is a real interesting discussion. But before we get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for watching the video. Please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button so you can be notified of when we release more videos. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter to the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It really does mean a lot. Please make sure you hit that like button and that share button on the way out the door after you watch the whole video and listen to what is actually said in the video. All right, so we've got Errol Spence Jr., who is 3-belt holder at 147 pounds, going into a fight with Terrence Crawford for the undisputed championship of the world. Hopefully that fight will be taking place in November. Everybody involved says they believe that fight is going to take place this year. So I am just out there saying, hey man, I'm buying it. I believe that it's going to happen and everybody should be excited about it because it's the biggest topic in boxing, man. And it's an excellent fight that can really take place. Now, there's another guy out there though. And this is something where it is kind of like one of the bad things about boxing. You actually have a guy in Jermell Charlo who has accomplished something in a manner that nobody else has accomplished it in recent memory. And that is to become the undisputed champion at 154 pounds or any other weight class for that example, but to do it and to do it by actually literally cleaning out a division. That, as of right now, has not been the case for anybody else that has won that undisputed title since probably since Bernard Hopkins, because you had Jermaine Taylor who became undisputed basically by unifying and beating Bernard Hopkins. Then you have a long time goes by. You have Terrence Crawford who got it by a two-belt unification. A unification fight where both fighters, he and Julius Ndungu, owned two of those belts, right? You have Alexander Usyk who goes through a tournament, but still consolidating a consolidation with a guy that had multiple belts. Same thing took place with Devin Haney and George Kambosos. Jermell Charlo, on the other hand, literally cleared out an entire division. Now, he did have one fight with Banana. God, what is Banana's name, man? Jason Rosario, who did have two belts. However, in doing so, everybody fought for those two belts. Half of the division fought for those belts because it was Erislandy who held it first. It was like Erislandy, Lara had the WBA, and I think the IBF was with Jarrett Hurd. And so Jarrett Hurd beat Erislandy Lara. J-Rock beat Jarrett Hurd. And then after that, Jason Rosario came by and beat J-Rock. Julian Williams winds up beating him, right? While at the same time, Jermell is beating guys like beating Tony Harrison, beating Erickson Lubin, right? Beat Brian Castano. Every single one of the top guys in that division had a shot at those belts. And Jermell Charlo came out on top. However, to date, he still does not get that credit for that, right? So when Errol Spence Jr. was asked, like, what is wrong with why is Jermell Charlo always in such a nasty mood? Why is he always behaving in this fashion? Right. And I gotta tell you, man, I absolutely love the fact that this man got this chip on his shoulder. But what he says was, look, he reads everything that's out there in the news, that's out there in social media. Everybody talking about what he does do, what he hasn't done, not giving him credit for this, not giving him credit for that. And since he reads everything out there, he takes everything personally, and it continually comes out in what he's saying, which is why he's saying, look, even when he's talking about being undisputed, why he's not on a top 10 pound for pound list, despite everything that he's done. Errol is like, look, I respond completely differently to people when they behave like that towards me. I'll just say, okay, whatever. You think I'm not the same? You're right. And, have a good day. But that's not Jermell Charlo's personality. However, that's a really, really good thing, because what Charlo's personality is what makes him such an exciting fighter, and is making him do things like stay at 154 pounds, fight Tim Tszyu, right, for his mandatory, not drop the belts, right, and say, hey, look, I'd rather pay the sanctioning fees for these belts than drop any of these belts. So this dude really is becoming one of the best fighters and most accomplished fighters in all of boxing. And he's doing it purely off of his attitude, right? Purely off his attitude. And even the way that he fights, man, the way that he fights is just so gritty, he's very technically sound fighter, right? At the same time, he is somebody that is really going to get you and consistently going to get you in a ring, which makes fights and makes fighters very, very exciting, right? So, I look forward to more of Jermell Charlo acting like Jermell Charlo acts. I hope that he reads and gets upset about everything he sees on the internet, provided it continues to have him act like that, because at a certain point in time, Jermell Charlo if he continues along the route that he is, he's going to pop out the top, man. He's given boxing fans everything that they deserve, everything that they want in a fight. You're having so for people that want to see highly skilled fighters, he's a highly skilled fighter. He's giving you the boxing. For people who want to see knockouts, want to see people brawl and go toe to toe, Jermell is giving you that. He's giving you that as well. For people that think that that it's most important to have all of the belts and ring up all of the belts and defend against anybody, he's giving you that. At a certain point in time, people are going to have to recognize Jermell Charlo, because Jermell Charlo is the type of guy where we don't talk about like people who are Hall of Famers, like legitimate Hall of Famers right now. I'm telling you right now that Jermell Charlo is a legitimate Hall of Fame candidate right now, based off what this guy has done in his career at 154 pounds, man. Fighting for that many belts, being a champion in a division for that long, where you had very, very top-notch fighters in your division and you're not losing to them. That kid right there, man, is doing what you're supposed to do. And there is not a lot of people that are really accomplishing or doing more than him, man. So the fact that he gets upset and he's carrying a chip on his shoulder because he's reading everything that everybody's saying, hey, man, more power to him. Keep reading it, man. Keep doing it, because that's really what's going to get him to where he's going to go. And now he's got this fight coming up. He said, I do believe it's going to be like in January against Costa Tszyu. Then he's going to have all these guys going up from 147 pounds up to 154. More than likely, though, I think he'll probably wind up going up to 160 and fighting the guys at 160 and winning belts at 160. But just a fantastic career so far for him. But just wanted to talk briefly about what Errol had to say about him and how important it is, man, that you guys keep bugging Jermell Charlo so that Jermell Charlo can keep giving us great fights and excellent performances. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.